Xavier Malik, how are you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. It's good to talk to you finally. I'm really excited to be on the pod, man.
Yeah, man, glad to have you on. Saw your account and immediately your content quality is really high, but also the things you're saying recently, getting into the more esoteric things about don't wear plastics, polyester, like carnivore diet type food. And that's actually why I wanted to talk to you because everyone, I think, has a good idea of how to be healthy. But your content, you've been getting really into like the in between the lines type health habits and health things that people could do. So I just wanted to pick your brain about that.
Yeah, I'm definitely in tune with all the little things. I like to say I'm kind of like a well-oiled machine. I can notice every little every little grain of sand that gets thrown in between the gears. So I'm very in tune. This actually kind of started for me. I was an athlete all through high school. I graduated high school and ended up not really getting into athletics anymore. So I actually started going into MMA, some martial arts. That's what really got me into the performance aspect of things and really dialing in my body, whether it be 1% changes, cutting out inflammatory foods. That's originally what got me really super interested in that regard. And yeah, so many people nowadays are sick, unfortunately, and ill. And I'd like to think that there's something we could do about it, and that some of the way we're living could possibly be contributing to that. Some of the things we're wearing, the polyester clothing. Polyester is a form of plastic. People don't really realize that. And all these new kind of gym wear brands are marketing all of their plastic material. It kind of hurts me to see that for sure. I'm sure it does play a factor. I don't know how much our skin is absorbing, but the skin is the largest organ in the body in that regard. So I'm sure it has some effect on our overall health, wearing this plastic sheath over our bodies.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's so funny. I didn't realize it is a lot of athletic wear. It's a lot of the guys who want to get healthier. A lot of the girls that want to feel fit, feel healthy are getting little microplastics soaking in on their skin and downstairs, that region. You get
On the boys.
Crazy.
I know you got to protect the boys, especially when you're sweating. I'd assume your pores are most likely more open. They're probably more susceptible to absorbing whatever it may be. Even there's so many different aspects of that I would love to get into. But I think some people aren't exactly prepared for. Well, action now.
Action
The
now. What's up,
microplaque.
Malik, brother?
What's up, Mateo? So we totally didn't just come back from technical issues. I swear, this is this is just a continuous pod.
Yep.
I was addressing the subject of microplastics being absorbed through clothing. I do think polyester clothing is something that could be contributing to the infertility, the health issues that we face today, unfortunately. I mean, if you look at the grand scheme of human history, polyester has only really been introduced in a little snapshot of human history. I mean, the last like 50 years, not even.
Yeah. I mean, and it's weird because you get BPA level labels on things like, oh, this is a polymer. I think that's what the P stands for, I believe. Type A. There are like 40 types of polymers. Just because you blocked one of them from being in your food packaging and whatever, that doesn't limit the other 39. Just avoid plastics altogether, especially like with foods and clothing and things that are on you and in you,
everyday things.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge aspect of my life, is just looking at everyday things that I'm continuously taking in, putting on, whatever it may be, and just trying to optimize those. I mean, why not? It's your life you were playing with here. I would want to stretch it out for as long as possible and be as healthy as possible. If you look at like the containers you're storing your food in, hey, I mean, it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg to get glass containers over plastic. And I really think it'll probably benefit your health. If it doesn't, then whatever, you're out a few bucks, but it just makes it's a no-brainer to me. In terms of the water quality you're drinking, how much is it going to really cost you to aim for a little bit of a better water quality? Because we know what's in tap water nowadays. You could literally go on, is it EWCS, a public website that will show you the what's exactly essentially in your tap water in your area specifically. Um,
Yeah.
there's so many things that you probably don't want to put in your body, and so many things that humans over history haven't put in their bodies that we all are now. And you look
Yeah.
at the disease rates and all of that, it's clearly
Exactly.
correlated. I'd like to say it's clearly correlated, but some people will call me crazy for that.
No, I totally believe it's by design too, man. I think also the thing about tap water you're talking about, I'm not gonna go and tell some young lady how to live, right? But if they believe like their body, their choice, they're taking birth control, right? Like all power to them, go ahead. But what people aren't realizing is that those people, those women, pee every day, multiple times a day, right? And that pee goes into our water supply. And they've seen all these estrogens like breaking down into the water and is tapping other people who are deciding not to have those steroid hormones into their in their water. So it's not just her body, it's affecting everybody. And it's fine. It's obviously she's not doing it on purpose, right? But you can protect yourself with water filters and all kinds of different things. But that is a huge one because there is a huge feminization at a chemical level of a lot of young men who are developing in puberty, and it's a big deal.
Dude, it's noticeable. I talk about that with my friends often, just seeing the younger generations. I'm actually coaching a high school lacrosse team currently, the high school I graduated at. I came back and I'm helping out, doing my
Nice.
fair share in the community. And it's incredible to just look at the youth kind of growing up. And I remember kids when I was a freshman in high school with like full beards and
Men,
grown
dude.
men. I mean, I graduated in 2018. I'm still young. So I was literally just recently in high school. I could still count on one hand how many years ago it was since I graduated, 5. So I'm
Yeah.
aging out of that.
Uh-huh.
But I remember kids that were full grown beards that their testosterone was probably triple,
Yeah.
obviously exaggerating, probably double that of the average kid nowadays. And they were outliers. I can't even imagine like the 80s, the 90s,
Dude.
just seeing full grown adults look like
Yeah.
they're 30 years old in high school. And I really do think it's like the feminization through just like heightened estrogen and obviously just the testosterone levels tanking. I mean, I've done so much research and read so many different articles about the average male testosterone dropping like 1% each year since around like 1989, I want to say, probably earlier than that. There's so many different
Yeah.
factors that come into play. You can't really put on like a all fits approach in that regard. It's
Mm.
like our activity levels, the food we're eating, the lack of nutrients from the food we're eating,
Yeah.
just the lower demand we're asking of our bodies. I mean, if our body doesn't have a reason to produce testosterone, if we're just sitting on the couch and watching Netflix all day, like a lot of people are, unfortunately, then why would it even need to produce testosterone? I mean, it's
Yeah.
kind of it's kind
Yeah.
of crazy, and our bodies are very adaptable. I mean, whatever you ask of it, it will respond to those demands. So
Yeah, exactly. I believe my body saw the most change when I went from super high reps, which is fine, right? But the T effect, like the high T, was when I started lifting heavy. Like extreme central nervous system shock was when I
yeah.
started. I was like, my body's like, oh, okay, we're a man, all right. So you need this, and it started giving me a ton of T. Yeah, if you don't have a stimulus for growth, you won't have the growth.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. I noticed the same thing. I was always because I was doing MMA and I had in my head for some reason I actually didn't really lift much in high school, to be honest. I was always hate to toot my own horn, the most athletic kid on the field. Playing lacrosse, I was always the fastest kid on the field. No competition about it. I was very confident in my abilities. I had the opportunity to go play at some Division II colleges. I'm sure if I really stuck to lacrosse, I probably could have made it up to the Division I level. Um, but I know for sure that the performance side of lifting is something I wish I started sooner.
Mhm.
I never wanted to get like bulky and become a gym bro, but I mean, obviously, I feel like I've come into that element over the past
Look at you
couple of
now.
years. I know, bro. But doing MMA, I really started getting into lifting a little bit more. I was on that. I started with calisthenics, doing push-ups, the squats, sit-ups, whatever it may be, just using my body weight.
Yeah.
I don't think my testosterone was as high as it could have been as an 18, 19, 20-year-old until honestly probably 2 years ago or a year ago. really focusing on those heavier rep ranges. I mean, I've gotten blood work done regularly, probably every year or so, just at my physical, and you could
What's your
see
T
that.
at? What's your T at?
I have to look right now, but I just got it done in November, and it was a new high. It was like,
Let's
I
go.
want to say 676 or something. That's just
Nice,
a number
dude.
from my head. It was red on the recommended testosterone. I don't know how you could have red testosterone, like it's too high or something. I don't know. I'm there freaking out the doctors. I went and
Yeah. On the verge of breaking out of the matrix. That's why it's
yeah,
red.
yeah,
Alarms are
exactly.
breaking.
I know this kid's gonna conquer the world, and they're like, oh, whoa, slow down there, slow down there.
Dude, I was talking with Coach Bart K about
Yeah,
this.
yeah, I saw that. That's awesome, man. Bart's the man.
He's the man, dude.
Shout out Ireland, baby.
Ireland, let's go. His blood work, his T is in like the 900s, right? Yeah.
That's
And so we
crazy.
were talking a bit, and we're like, yeah, isn't it so funny that when you're healthy, they really resist giving you your blood work because like they're like, oh, we assume you're healthy. And then one of my friends was like, oh yeah, let me just put on my seatbelt after I crash. That's the whole point.
Facts, honestly. I had to like beg for it. I was like hinting. My doctor's a pretty cool guy. I was like hinting at it. I was like, can I just see the data? I was asking. I was like, can I get my testosterone checked? Can I get my sex hormones? And he was like giving me kind of a hard time. And he was like, well, you would have to give me a reason to do so. And I said, I've been feeling really lethargic lately, and I like gave him
Nice.
a wink, and he was like, okay. And
Nice.
I was like, honestly, I think my testosterone is going to be higher than ever. I think I might be busting out of this room with my shirt off in a second.
Let's go.
And I pulled it up right here, 870. So 870.
Yo.
Yeah. Photo evidence. Here we
Let's
go.
go.
Here
Here it
we
is.
go. I don't know if you can see that. 870.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was covered up. Win loss.
Little Musk.
Proof. Let's
Boom.
go.
That's blood red.
Blood red. Yep. Wasn't in the green zone. Wasn't in the green zone.
Not at all. Good stuff, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, I was just thinking it's been about a year since I've been eating. I don't remember the last time I've had anything processed, to be honest with you. I think it's been about a year since I've been only eating whole foods, essentially animal-based diet. I don't like to put a label on myself.
Capital B.
Yeah. Based as fuck. I honestly just found out what that word based means like 3 months ago, dude. I was so out of social media. I only started actually using social media about a year ago in March. I got a new phone. I completely avoided it, and since then it's been a really great journey. I feel like I've helped countless more people than I would have been able to just marketing through word of mouth locally. I was doing personal training already. I had stopped fighting or doing MMA with the intention of fighting around April, I want to say, of 2022 rather.
Okay.
Feels weird that it's 2023.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to just kind of help people achieve and reach whatever goals they have through health and wellness. Honestly, I wanted to fight. I really wanted to. I wanted to make that like a career. But I just found that our brains are so precious.
Oh
And
yeah, dude.
I really didn't want to sacrifice anymore. I wanted to use my brain for good, and not that that's not good, but it was something that really
Yeah, I know what
hit
you mean.
with me. Yeah,
Yeah.
something that really hit with me, and I don't want to degrade anyone that wants to follow that. I think it's an amazing sport. It's my favorite sport. It's the only sport I really actually watch, and if you're willing to sacrifice your life to that, I more cheers to you, more applause to you. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But I feel like another thing, I just don't have that savage in me. I want to help people. I kind of reached that point where I want to build people up, not really break them down and
Don't want to smash people.
smash, no smash.
Smash.
Um,
Dude, I'm a
but
wrestler. I wrestled in high school, and my best friend, he's actually the kid who's on the first episode of my show. He played lacrosse too, and he actually played at Michigan, the University of Michigan, and has a coaching offer. He's coaching a lot of college athletes and stuff. But I think he was telling me there's a lot of lacrosse guys to get into MMA because he picked up BJJ like immediately, like
that's
jujitsu.
awesome.
dude. And he got me bit with the jujitsu bug too. I just haven't found a gym to commit to yet.
Sweet.
But dude, it's something about I I think BJJ too. Tell me if I'm wrong. Like MMA, you can go 100% without like actually like killing each other. Whereas other martial arts, like when I did like Taekwondo and wrestling and all that stuff, you go 100%, you're gonna get hurt, right?
Yeah. Well, I definitely feel like BJJ is the one sport where you can 100% go full blast, and you can get great reps. And if you're going full blast with intention, with control to some regard, it is great. And I mean, nothing beats trying to strangle your friends. I have
Yeah,
mats in my garage. I don't know. I've posted a couple of clips on my Instagram of my little garage gym I've built out.
nice.
I have friends over a couple times a week. We'll just grapple, do a couple of rounds, and it's a great sport that I'd love to stay in for sure and compete in the near future. I'm just kind of healing up some injuries, but
For sure, dude.
I do feel like it is the one thing you could go 100% and get some great reps in. MMA, I don't know. Some people you might beg to differ, but
Yeah,
anything with shots to the head is there's
that's
there's some danger in it. But I really wish I did wrestle in high school. That is a huge discipline that gets built, a lifelong discipline that gets built.
yeah,
It's I remember in high school running next to those guys during lacrosse practice, and they'd have bags on, cutting weight. And I
insane.
mean, their ability to thrive in suffering is unlike any other. That's why most wrestlers are very successful in MMA nowadays. If you can control someone's body and take them down, that's ultimate. I do know a lot of lacrosse players that got into MMA. Lacrosse is surprisingly a pretty violent sport. I know it's regarded as like the wealthy white kid, whatever it may be, sport. I was the only African American, half African American kid out there. It definitely is violence. A lot of blood. A lot of big hits. The recent game I just coached, it was violent.
Yeah,
I can see the transfer. I can
yeah,
see the
for sure.
transfer for sure. That's one thing about when I stopped playing lacrosse. I just craved like hurting people, to be honest
Yeah,
with you.
dude, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, going back out into the regular world, you're like, I could smash this guy right now, right now.
Yeah, and
And
I mean, I was soft. I was like 165 pounds, but I loved, that was my biggest thing playing lacrosse, is just like I picked out the biggest guy, and I was like, I'm gonna drop him this game. Full speed, full sprint, 25-yard sprint, just put my helmet right beneath his chin. Probably
yeah,
slightly illegal, but that
eh,
was fun for me. Yeah.
ref can't
Um
see everything.
yes, exactly. So where are you at right nowadays?
So I was raised in Northern Virginia, so I'm there right
Okay,
now.
sweet,
Yeah,
cool.
big lacrosse community here, actually.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and so yeah, I'm still here. I was in Spain for 3 months, and then the plan is to move back over there. So I'm just cleaning up my house, like all documentation, all kinds of stuff, because it's crazy doing business here and there. So I'm just trying to clean stuff
Yeah.
up, meeting some cool people along the way, and then I just got this podcast started up. I started it way back, but you know what? I was just like you, actually. I didn't really believe in social media. I thought it was like the most vain thing in the world, actually. And
Yeah, sure.
so until I saw you can actually build community here. So getting some of the guys that I've been talking to throughout the years on this and sharing their ideas and what they do has been very rewarding. So
No, that's definitely understandable. That's something that drives me every day, is seeing the community that's being built, and like-minded people that I would have not meeting otherwise. It's really awesome. It feels like there is hope for like social media being
yeah,
in this like positive space. I like to say that we're the positive side of social media. I mean, it's so easy to get sucked into scrolling about Instagram thoughts, miles and miles of Instagram thoughts,
yeah,
getting miles on your thumb.
yeah. No, don't worry, they're getting miles themselves. Just a different kind of.
Facts.
Yeah,
Clip that, clip that.
yeah, clip that,
That's
dude.
funny.
So where are you from? Where are you raised?
So I'm actually from Jacksonville, Florida, south of Jacksonville, Florida. I like to claim St. Augustine, kind of in between the two, just north of St. Augustine, just south of of Jacksonville. Um, it's a growing town for sure. I think
Oh,
Jacksonville was like the number one city in terms of growth for the past like 3 years or so in Florida rather. So a ton of growth here, but honestly, nothing too exciting growing up as a kid, single mom, just trying to figure it out as I go.
Yeah.
My mom's been really supportive, trying to help me out, trying to push me in the right direction. She was always someone in my life that I come to realize it now was ahead of the wave. She never really gave me any processed shit. She never allowed me to drink soda. She
Really?
never really had chips in the house. I didn't realize it at the time, but she always fed me whole foods for dinner and really rarely had anything processed. And I think that has a correlation with my athletic performance. Being the most athletic kid on the field, I really think it does, as well as genetics, of course.
Yeah.
But I think that may have instilled a little bit of a health conscious aspect in my head.
Dude,
It's crazy how our
100%.
childhood affects us, and we don't
Yeah.
really realize it.
Yeah, we don't realize that at all. I get really sad when I see like fat like children, like not fat
Me as
children,
well. Yeah,
obese children, right?
yeah, yeah. It makes me
Because
sad.
that kid has no salary. That kid has no money. Like he can't choose what he's eating. It's a parent's choice. It's a
Yeah,
household choice. And I know that parents, I'm not judging parents' love. Like I know parents love their kids, but it's just a lot of us are so ill-informed. We don't know that the canola oil is destroying, inflaming your body. We don't know certain things. But yeah, that's why accounts like yours really help push the masses. Just every day, some new person is going to see that new idea and is going to push it to their tribe and their network, and that makes a difference.
yeah. Like you said, they're pushing it to their tribe and their network. They become the CEO of the ancestral lifestyle. I like to call it. I'm the CEO. I'm a CEO rather. There's millions of CEOs of the ancestral lifestyle,
Yeah,
teaching
right.
people how to kind of get back to our roots and in understanding how humans are meant to thrive, how we have thrived for hundreds of thousands, millions of years, whatever you want to say.
Yeah,
Um, it is really rewarding to just see like those messages from that one person that says, hey, you've really helped my life. I've stopped eating processed crap. I've cut out seed oils. I feel better than ever. I don't get a sunburn anymore. That's crazy.
isn't that huge? Isn't that so nice,
I was
dude?
just
I see
talking to a
more.
client today about that.
Yeah, no, that's like the number one seller. I've been trying to tell people, like, hey, like if you stop consuming seed oils, you won't get the skin inflammation from the sun. Like you can just soak in the sun finally.
Yeah, like what did your ancestors do? You think they're just getting burned every minute? I mean, I guess maybe some Irish folks that didn't get sunlight much and they're living in like Florida or something.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's some aspect of like lack of sun absorption. My mom's actually a redhead that kind of
yeah.
draws into my color. I have a African American dad, and a redhead mom, so it made me the lightest
You tan
mixed
then?
kid ever. Oh, I get dark for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
My mom tans pretty well as well, so
Yeah, I think
it's
it's just like muscles or anything else. The body just gets used to the new stimulus, even if it is like photons. You get
yeah,
used to. Yeah.
we're definitely super adaptable in that regard.
So with your coaching, you're doing mostly like muscle gain or like fat loss, or what is the typical profile people come to you for?
So both, honestly. I've worked with people that are obese, that have lost a ton of weight and completely transformed their lives. We help build healthy eating habits, a sustainable eating style. I don't like to put people in one box. It never works with honestly anything in health.
Mm,
Finding a diet that works for you at the end of the day and sticking to that and building upon that, adding things, removing things, but basing it around whole foods that humans are meant to eat. That's my biggest focus. Whether it be muscle building, fat loss, it really kind of almost falls into the same category of that, at least
mm.
sticking to the whole foods in the nutrition side of things, adding if you want to bulk, removing if you want to get into a calorie deficit, and then building the fitness plan around that, longevity focused. I don't know if you've heard of knees over toes guy,
Yeah,
ATG. Yeah, that's kind of what I first dove into when I hopped on Instagram. I'm trying to educate people how to restore their knees, how to just get into the most athletic form of their bodies yet. Um, I had some knee issues when I was doing MMA. when I
Oh,
was training MMA, and I found knees over toes guy. I had patellar tendonitis for like a year that I was just pushing through, dealing with, and it really sucked. And I just dove into ATG, Knees Over Toes Athletic Truth Group is his kind of organization,
mhm.
and self-educating myself, buying his programs, and I completely restored my knees, and I've become the most athletic version of myself on top of the athleticism I already had.
Nice.
My patellar tendons are stronger than ever. It's a pretty incredible program that I'm very passionate about, and it's not just the knees, it's strengthening the ankles, the ligaments surrounding that, the muscles within those areas, the back, the shoulders, some really out of the box stuff that I really would like to. He's put the title on it, but I want to put the claim on it right now on this podcast. It is the evolution in exercise science for sure. It,
Nice.
it's
Yeah.
it's the next level stuff. I mean, we want to all focus on this bodybuilding, this basic kind of meathead logic, I'd like to say, but
Yeah.
rarely are we actually training in functional patterns that we're actually going to be using in our daily lives, or patterns that people get injured in a lot, like the Jefferson curls, one example, where you're coming to like a full spinal bend and you're almost deadlifting through that. That's
Yeah.
where most people get injured, is they're weak in that area and they're bending over to pick something up. Their spine's not neutral, because it's rare that your spine's actually neutral when you're picking something up.
Right.
So most people get injured. But if you can strengthen yourself in that range of motion, then the propensity of you getting injured has been extremely decreased. So just like that with like the knees over toes, people blow out their ACLs coming to a stop. It's not the acceleration, it's the deceleration. If you can
Mhm.
train yourself in those ranges of motion when your knee is over your toes, it's going to strengthen the ligaments, it's going to strengthen the accessory muscles, and really just prevent the odds of that happening, which is really exciting to me. And then obviously mixing in some aesthetic bodybuilding training that people want to focus on, get the pump, get the cool
Yeah.
looks, obviously mixing that in with some functional aspects of that. So kind of just a mosh in terms of the fitness side of things, of all of those regards. And then nutrition, really just focusing on building those healthy habits of putting in quality nutrients, quality food, quality ingredients into your body.
Nice. A very holistic approach then. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, everything ties in. I just
yeah,
word
the
vomited a
muscles.
lot on you. I'm sorry about that, but
What?
I just word vomited a lot on you
No,
there.
dude. That's why we're here. I love that.
All right.
The muscles grouping, like it's great. Like everyone wants some bigger muscles. But yeah, the knees or toes guy's story is actually really cool. I did he blow out one or both knees, the ACLs or something?
I think he had like multiple surgeries
Oh,
on both of his knees, maybe, but he was a shit show for sure.
yeah, and like now you see videos of him dunking, doing like heavy backward sledding,
Yeah,
crazy things, and yeah, I think it's because we've neglected tendon strength, isometric holds, and that, like you said, like functional, uh, situational lifts like the Jefferson curl.
yeah.
That's not in many programs at all. So that's awesome that you include that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm a big fan. I'm just addressing our weak links at the end of the day.
Yeah,
How do people get injured? How can we strengthen that and prevent that from happening? That's the goal at the end of the day. And obviously mixing in some really positive nutritional habits as well to lower the odds of us getting an injury, because nutrition does play a factor. If you're feeling sluggish that day,
mhm.
you're feeling inflamed that day, I think there is a higher propensity of you getting injured. And by being consistent with your nutrition and putting in the best fuel in your body, that's really going to be beneficial in terms of mixing in the fitness side of things and the nutrition side of things. It's going to be a symbiotic, amazing relationship.
Yeah, I like that it's both. I How are you philosophically dealing with the idea of dieting? I've never liked the word dieting personally, because I feel like it's something that's outside of myself. It's like something I'm forcing. Whereas like what's helped me for like years now is like I've never once been on a diet. I genuinely enjoy red meat, fruit, honey. Like why would I not? And I genuinely dislike potato chips, canola oil, because like to me it also literally tastes nasty. And
I
I didn't realize exactly why that was, like how it clicked, until I read a book called Eat Dirt by Dr. Josh Axe, and he says the gut microbiome, it's bacteria. So they they want to preserve their life. And what they do is, like, if you eat a certain type of food, if it's processed food, you create a certain type of bacteria that lives there, and they populate there, and they feed off that original food source, which was processed food. So they're going to ask for more, and like ask for more cravings of that junk. Whereas if you introduce like healthy foods, they're going to be like, oh, this is not us. Those aren't our boys. These are different bacteria. Get that out of here. So it's going to,
Yeah.
there's a transition period. But like when you've been eating well and clean for a while, it genuinely tastes amazing. You look forward to it. And I didn't realize that at a chemical level, but yeah, I've never been on a diet a day in my life. Well, I did. I went vegan for 2 weeks with my ex. That was wild. But I've never been on a diet for the rest of my life. Like, it's just, I enjoy good food, and I feel like once you have that relationship with food, with dieting, whatever you want to call it, it's just simple. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. The gut microbiome, it really is. People like to call it the second brain, right? The brain connection with your.
Ew.
Oh, I can still hear you at least though. All right, cut.
All right, cut. We're good.
Cut. We're back. All right.
Yeah.
So I was saying the gut microbiome is really interesting. I've heard more and more recently that people are considering it to be the second brain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I mean that relationship with the bacterias and how there could be overgrowths of bad bacteria, like Candida, I want to say is a bad bacteria that's definitely sugar. Excess sugar contributes to that, excess processed sugars. And when you have those overgrowths, they signal to your brain, hey, I want more of this crap to make my colony bigger.
Yeah.
Make the boys bigger. It's incredible. And so many people, their gut microbiomes are probably jacked, and they're just craving all the wrong things. And I think people need to just trust that it takes some time to rebuild the good bacteria and rid themselves of the bad bacteria that crave those nasty things.
Yeah.
I mean, some people are deep in a hole, but I think that most of those holes can be dug out of. You could climb out of those holes. It's going to take some dedication and some temporary discomfort, but I think in the long term it'll pay off for sure. The
Yeah.
gut biome is incredible. I'm very interested to hear more about what's brought up of that in the next few years to come, because I know they're doing more and more research in that regard, and I think we have such a surface level understanding of it.
Yeah, we definitely do have a surface level understanding of it.
Similar to our understanding of cholesterol, I think it's very surface level, to be honest with you. We know what markers to look for, and I don't like the whole all fits approach. I think everyone's completely different. I mean, I think your cholesterol can completely change day to day. Your body, your liver produces it, for God's sake, and we've been conditioned to just be absolutely terrified of cholesterol and saturated fat, and it's like, this is what humans have been eating. This is only what humans have been eating is animal proteins full of cholesterol, and we're all of a sudden terrified of it. I do know there's some big issues with people that are insulin resistant in saturated fat, and I think that's a huge correlation to somewhat of our fear of animal fats is the insulin resistance that causes that atherosclerosis. I mean,
But what caused that insulin resistance is all the sugary and processed stuff in the first place. You can't blame the firefighters for showing up to the fire just because they're there. Like, what caused the fire?
That's a good one. Yeah, exactly. We're never really addressing the root cause, it seems, in Eastern medicine, and it kind of sucks. It's really unfortunate. It's kind of just like, here you go, take this pill, mask your symptoms, never actually address the root cause, because we've really never really been taught how to address the root cause. I mean, I think most doctors are really only given like 25 hours or so of nutrition education throughout all their schooling, and I I think that's a huge disservice to sick people. That's one of the first things they need to be addressing when they go in with symptoms or whatever it may be. It's the doctors need to be asking, what is your lifestyle like? What are you eating? What are some of the foods you eat throughout the week? What is your fitness regimen? Are you lifting heavy weights? Are you giving your body the stimulus it needs to thrive? What is your hydration like? What are you drinking? Like, there's so many different things that need to be addressed before just here, take this pill, mask your symptoms without actually fixing the root cause.
Yeah, it's a perverted game. Like a patient cured is a customer lost. I think I saw that somewhere.
Getting deep, man. It hurts. It is 100% true, and it's crazy that people look at me funny for saying something like that or whatever it may be. I mean, are you just bad at putting puzzles together? This is very evident. This is very evident. I mean, $1.7 trillion or so the pharmaceutical industry made. Can't really speak right now.
I know you're no stranger to the Fluoride Stare, you know.
Yeah, the 1,000-yard fluoride stare, man.
You're like, huh?
The seed oil fluoride stare, just looking off into nothingness. It's painful, man. It's painful. I try to say, hey, just be conscious of what you're eating. Stop putting this crap in your body, and it's just one ear and out the other. Some people, you can lead them to water, but you can't make them drink, and that's something I've heard. I've applied to my life more and more. I want to be that preacher guy. I want to save as many of my peers, as many people I love as possible. But I've just kind of accepted at this point that some people you'll never get through to, and it sucks. It really sucks.
Dude.
I try not to be that preachy type anymore. Honestly, I try to just live by example, and if they're smart enough, if they're willing enough, they'll hopefully ask questions, come to me, and I can help them in any way I can.
Dude, that's maturity, man. I'm glad you said that. You know what? This might be speaking to a lot of the people in our community because maybe a lot of us have seen that fluoride stare, and we're trying to help out people in our family or people close to us, roommates, whatever. But yeah, I used to be just like you. I used to be like the preachy type. You're like, you can't be putting that garbage in your body. Like, oh, your grandma recipe calls for canola oil. Bullshit. The canola has only been around for like whatever. I would just like poke holes at things, and I realized, hey, I'm just being super unpleasant. You know, like I'm driving distances between people I care about for a million other reasons. This person gives me value. I give them value. We've had a relationship for like so long. What am I doing? There's got to be a better way. And like you said, it's by example. Once you start doing these objectively healthy things, you will get objectively healthy. And people notice that. They might not say it to you, but you and I probably have gotten some messages on the side, be like, hey, like, what are you doing? Like, this is interesting. That thing you were talking about, was that real? Like, they'll reach out and just give them time because they're their own person. They're on their own journey, and you can't force this stuff down people's throats. I would love to. I know you would too, but it's not the most efficient way to do it, at least for people you love and care about. If you want to get good engagement on your posts and stuff, go as controversial as you want. It's the best. It's hilarious. But with people you actually care about, you need to be a little bit more patient and a bit more mature, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, I just want to say, hey, take my hand and trust me. I'm gonna get you to the best health you've ever been in, and you're gonna. I mean, honestly, it's like some close family members. It's. I tell them, I'm like, hey, you're gonna get to this point in your life where you're gonna finally take my advice, and you're gonna be feeling better than ever, and you're gonna ask yourself, why the fuck did I not do this sooner? But that is a really great point you made. Is it does drive a wedge the more kind of preacher you get, and I've had that issue myself. So I've definitely come into my own in terms of just being stoic with it, and just leading by example, speak less. And
more by example, and
exactly,
people naturally get defensive. You start attacking them personally, whatever. But yeah, you know how it is, dude. I love how your screen, you became like the Batman now. It became darker and darker.
The sun's gone down. I had my window open. I actually was just gonna look. Do I need to up my light?
I can see you fine, but you can play around with it if you want.
Okay, I'm Batman.
That's fine. So do you have any post-sun like red light or any kind of blue light blockers, any kind of routine for that?
So yeah, I've got my blue light blockers. These are prescription. You can kind of see the blue in them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've had these for a while just from gaming. I always had these. And then on my Windows PC, I actually have it go into like night light mode, similar to Apple's like night shift.
Nice.
The sun is down now pretty much, so it's gone into that more red light, but I'm going to turn it down just for this pod and mess around with this light a little bit.
Yeah.
Un momento, por favor. Cut. I guess for, what is it? Here we go. So how was Spain, bro? Sorry.
Spain was fun, dude. It's I was just talking to someone about this. Like, my parents are first generation. They came here from South America, but our family's from like Spain and South America. And like, I'm like a huge blessing to be here in the States. I got an American education, get paid in American dollars. It's great and all, but it's I thought everyone wanted to come to the States. I didn't realize till much later, like, these people needed to come to the States. It's a big, huge difference. Like, for like everything's shit in their home country, like corruption, all that. So, but they didn't want to because all their family, their language, their culture, everything's over there. So I feel tremendously blessed to be able to go have the opportunity, the option to go back and like experience things. So that's why I feel like I have to, like, I want to also, but I also have to go back because I have that opportunity to go back and like, there's something about walking around and seeing like old ladies that look like your grandma, and like everyone looks like your cousins. Like, you're just walking around, like, you feel at home, like that's your home country for like thousands of years. I don't have that here in Nova in Northern Virginia. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's awesome. I'm actually headed to Ireland pretty soon. That's genetically where my second half is.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm excited about that, man. It'll be a great experience. Yeah, my first time over in Europe at all, actually. So I'll be up over there in April. Yeah, I messaged Bart. I think he's going to be abroad at that time, but if he is around, we're definitely going to have to link up.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm so excited, and like you were saying, and kind of getting that connection of the familial history. I mean, my grandmother came over when she was a small, I think she was like 8 years old. But my great grandmother, I lived with her, or she lived around here, and we had a close relationship up until 2017. She passed away in her 90s, but she had a thick Irish brogue. Is that what it's called? I think she had a thick Irish accent.
Nice.
She was very Irish, so it'll just be really cool to go around there and see some of my family that stayed in Ireland, and just I'm sure there'll be some genetic memories that'll come up, which
yeah,
I'm
man.
excited about.
And you're
how do you feel? What's that?
And you're a big nature lover. That's the place for it.
Yeah, I'm excited to go hug some cows and get some raw dairy.
Yeah.
How do you feel about genetic memories, since I brought that up?
I think they're real. I think it's super powerful because I'm not a hippie by any means, but like I've been around a lot of them. There's a lot of ideas they have that, you know what, fuck it, they're good. But the vibrational, like, collective subconscious, that's not even a hippie term. That's from Carl Jung. It's real because everything is atoms. The light photons are waves that coming into your eyes. What you hear or hertz coming into your ears. All the electric signals in your neurons in your brain. It's all signals, and they're all wavelengths. Meaning that if you operate on a certain wavelength or vibe, as they say, you can meet and connect with people on the same plane, that same vibrational plane, and you just connect that way. I believe the exact same thing happens with blood. I think that happens with locations. Whether it's like a traumatic thing, oh my gosh, this place has a bad vibe, this location has a bad vibe, that person has a bad vibe. So can like places where your family had extensive generational sacrifice and lineage. I feel like every time I go to Spain, I can't explain it to people. I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't know there was a word for it. Every single time I go to Spain, I feel at home. And it's a type of like, it's an overwhelming feeling. Like, I actually almost cry every time, the first day, every time I come.
Getting chills, bro. I'm getting chills.
It's crazy, dude. It's insane. And so I love it so much. And that feeling is just, it's powerful and it's real.
I'm so excited to go to Ireland. I really do think I mean, like, your ancestors have been there for longer than you've been here. So
yeah,
it probably feels like home for sure.
For sure,
wow.
dude, for sure. And dude, if you're gonna be in Ireland in April, I don't know if I'm gonna be back by April, but if I am, dude, I'm just gonna hop over and say what's
Bounce
up.
over. That would be so awesome. We can hang out in Dublin for the day or something.
Dude, we're gonna push some cows over.
Facts, bro. Give them hugs.
Give them hugs. Not brother.
Cow tipping. I was actually just talking to my mom and my aunt the other day. They were talking about some like childhood shit,
Yeah.
being delinquents and tipping cows or something at night. I didn't know that was an actual thing. I thought it was a folklore.
No, it fucks them up, dude. They can crack ribs.
That's messed up, man. That's messed up. I was giving it to him. I was like, "You guys are terrible people, pushing over cows, bro. They didn't do anything."
I bet the noise they make is hilarious. They don't know what they're expecting.
Man, if someone pushes over my cows, I'm coming out with a shotgun, boy. One day. Get some land.
RKO of cow. Take the leg.
Yeah, single leg.
How'd you mess up your knee? Was it like someone cranking a leg lock or something?
No, it was I think just overuse, honestly. The patellar tendon right beneath the kneecap, that like big tendon right there.
Yeah.
It's very common that people have overuse issues with that. I think a lot of the other muscles, like the VMO, vastus medialis,
the
oblique,
teardrop.
I think is called. Yeah, the teardrop part of the quad. That's a huge stabilizer in the knee. I think that was weak. A lot of the times, injuries, overuse injuries specifically, are just the adjacent muscles that are supposed to be doing their jobs aren't doing the best job, and that puts too much strain on the other muscle or tendon, whatever it may be. So just by strengthening the accessories, it seemed to just like the pain went away over time. I really don't think it was any traumatic event in general.
Gotcha. So if you have weakness in a muscle, is it smart to stretch it or strengthen it? Like for instance, like the most common thing, the anterior pelvic tilt, right? People are sitting all day. That's from weak core, weak glutes mostly, right? And then super tight quads and super tight lower back, right? So it's like opposite of each other. It's like an X.
Yes, it's like an X. One's pulling the other into the incorrect position, and the other isn't doing its job to pull it back as like a counterbalance, counterweight. So by strengthening the accessory as well as the antagonist muscle, so whatever's pulling against that will really help straighten it out. Sorry, I was doing a visual down beneath there. For an example, like knee valgus, where your knees are coming in.
Yes.
If you strengthen the outside, it's gonna do its job and pull it back out, if that makes sense. It really is like a big balance game about the anterior pelvic tilt. Generally, your glutes would be underactive in some occasions. Those active glutes, activating those glutes would kind of pull your pelvis into a more loaded position.
Yeah.
The hip flexor generally plays a factor in that as well. People having really weak, overactive hip flexors just from sitting all day, being at a 90-degree. But it really is just addressing the muscles within the area and strengthening what you can, getting blood flow to it. If you have an injury, for example, getting as much blood flow to it without going backwards in terms of like re-injuring it, making it worse. Blood flow at the end of the day is like what's going to accelerate and push along the healing process.
Gotcha. So is it more efficient to strengthen the weak muscles or to stretch the tight muscles?
I would say probably strengthening the weak muscles. That'll take a lot of the strain off of the tight muscles, and that'll allow you to stretch your tight muscles a lot easier for sure. Because if a muscle is just bound up and it's constantly tight all the time and it's doing all the work that it shouldn't be doing, you're really not going to get anywhere unless you actually strengthen the muscles that should be doing their job, just to take that relief off of it. Then you can kind of start opening up those new ranges of flexibility.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because for like the first time in my life, really, I started working corporate job right out of college for 2 years, and then I started doing this stuff on my own. I'm sitting so many hours of the day, and for the first time in my life, I'm feeling like tension in my lower back. I'm like, dude, this is old man shit. This isn't real. This can't be happening. So I started just foam rolling, and it feels good, but I feel like I should be doing more for my glutes. My glutes have disappeared, dude. I have a long back now. I need to fix those glutes. So
strengthening the glutes. They're a huge muscle for sure. I think by strengthening your glutes, that'll take a lot of relief off of your lower back for sure. They're a massive muscle in the lower body, and a lot of people's glutes aren't firing properly. You can start with like single leg glute bridges in your house. Those are great for just firing up the glutes for sure.
Yeah, I'm in a group chat with some friends, and I'm telling them about like my glute journey and stuff, and they're like, "Yeah, man, like show us your update, show us the glute spread."
Glute spread.
Like, all right,
No, it's good. I hit some glute bridges today at the gym. It was fun. So
good
it
stuff. Yeah,
it's great. A lot of people have um glutes that aren't firing properly, whether it be your left glute and your right glute. Sometimes it's an imbalance, but just by engaging them, bridging a lot is going to be really beneficial for getting the glutes going.
yeah, you got to get those fired up.
Yeah.
Dude, how can people get in touch with you if they want to work with you? Maybe if they have some questions and such.
Right. So I mainly use Instagram. My Instagram is Xavier Xavier underscore Malik Malik 1. We got a 1 at the end of it. I
First,
have a link tree in my bio. You guys can apply for coaching there, one-on-one coaching. I'll build a full program for you. We'll stay in close touch. We'll talk multiple times a week. I'll provide you accountability. I'll build a full nutrition guide that you can follow, and obviously just help you along the journey. With my clients, I like to build a close relationship with them, and they become brothers, sisters to me, and I'm invested in your journey and of your health. I want to help as many people as possible for sure. But right now, just Instagram is the best place to find me.
sweet man.
Yeah.
It's been great talking with you. I'm gonna keep in touch. You're really easy to talk with. You got a lot of ideas, and dude, we might roll. We might have to roll. I don't know.
Of course, of course. Yeah. We're gonna have to link back up soon.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Sweet. I'll keep an eye out for your content, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. You the same.
And take it easy, Xavier. Peace out.
Later, Mateo.
Thanks, man.